Welcome to English Story 2 Day. Don't forget like and subscribe.
My name is Sophie. I am 30 years old. I work in a small bookstore in a quiet town called Willow Creek. Life here is peaceful. The streets are calm. People know each other by name. My days are simple: open the shop, help customers, read during lunch, close the store, walk home. I like this life. I don't need much. I never looked for adventure. I never searched for love. I thought some things would just come when the time was right. And then he walked in. His name was James. He came to the shop one rainy afternoon. The wind blew the door open, and he stepped inside with wet hair and a warm smile. He said, "Do you have any books on old poetry?" I nodded. "Yes, follow me." He walked behind me as I led him to the poetry section. He smelled like rain and coffee. I remember that. James started coming every Saturday. He always bought a book. He always smiled. He always talked to me about small things. How cold the weather was. How much he liked a poem. How he used to write when he was younger. His voice was calm, slow, like music. I liked hearing it. We started talking more. I began to look forward to Saturdays. I even counted the days until I'd see him again. One day, he brought me a muffin. "I passed a bakery on my way here," he said. "Thought you might like chocolate." I laughed. "I do." That day, we talked for almost an hour. After he left, I couldn't stop smiling. Soon, I began thinking about James all the time. When I arranged books, I thought of his favorite writers. When I brewed tea, I thought of the way he took his coffee: no sugars, no milk. I didn't want to fall for him. But I did. It was soft at first, like a whisper. Then it grew louder, deeper. I waited for him every week. I dressed a little nicer on Saturdays. I made sure the poetry section was neat. I even wrote down things to say, just in case I got nervous. And then one Saturday, he didn't come. I waited all day. I kept looking at the door, hoping, but he never showed up. The next Saturday, he returned. My heart jumped when I saw him, but something felt different. He looked tired, a little distant. He said, "Sorry I didn't come last week. I had to take my wife to the hospital. She had surgery." That word, wife, hit me like cold water. Wife? I smiled politely. "I hope she's okay," I said. "She's getting better, thank you." After he left, I stood there alone in the poetry aisle. My hands were shaking. He had a wife. He was married. How did I not see it? Why didn't he mention her before? I had built a small world in my head, and it broke in 1 second. That night, I walked home in the rain. I didn't use my umbrella. I wanted the cold. I wanted the water on my face to hide my tears. I whispered to myself, "Forget him, Sophie. He's not yours." But my heart said, "I already love him." I didn't see James for 2 weeks. I thought he might not come back. A part of me hoped he wouldn't. It would be easier that way. But he did come back. He smiled like always. He brought a book to the counter. "You okay?" he asked. I nodded. "Yes." He looked at me carefully. "You seem quiet today." I wanted to scream. Of course I'm quiet. I'm in love with you and I hate myself for it. But I said nothing. I simply said, "I guess I'm just tired." He smiled softly. "You should rest more. You work too hard." That night, I sat at my desk. I opened a notebook and wrote a letter I would never send. "Dear James, you will never read this, but I need to write it. I need to say it somewhere. I love your voice. I love the way you talk about books. I love how your eyes get smaller when you laugh. I love the way you say my name. But you belong to someone else. And I can't be the person who ruins that. So I will keep my feelings quiet. I will not tell you. I will smile when you come. I will say goodbye when you leave. I will love you in silence. Not because I don't care, but because I do. Sophie." Weeks passed. Months passed. James still came to the bookstore. Less often, though. Sometimes with his wife. She had kind eyes. She held his hand. I felt invisible. He never knew how I felt. No one did. But I started to move forward. I began writing again. I started painting. I joined a local book club. I laughed more. I smiled for real. One day, I saw James walking with his wife in the park. They looked happy. I didn't hide. I didn't cry. I just sat on a bench and watched the sky. It was quiet, peaceful. Like my heart had finally rested. That night I opened my notebook and wrote, "I'm learning to let go. I'm learning to love myself." And it was true. I never sent the letter. I never told James the truth. But in a way I didn't have to. Because I had loved and I had healed. And that made me stronger. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever loved someone in silence, know this: your heart is strong. Love doesn't always need a happy ending to be beautiful. Sometimes the quietest stories are the ones that teach us the most. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and share. And don't forget to subscribe for more gentle, honest stories about life and love. Take care of your heart. Believe in yourself. Your story isn't over yet.